What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Here with my co-host Adrian Campbell, and we're going to talk about our NFC North season predictions. So you guys go ahead, stay tuned, comment below, let us know your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button. We're going to kick this episode off with the Detroit Lions. Soup, man, you want to go ahead and hit this one first?
Yeah, man. I like the Detroit Lions. Okay, guys, watch the show. Y'all know I love Dan Campbell, Motor City Dan, in the Detroit Lions. Yeah,
bite their ankles,
man. It's just a good fit, and these guys have made the right moves. I think, right. I wish we could get the gambling situation under control, and I hate that they're going to be missing Jameson Williams for the first part of the season due to that gambling suspension. That being said, right, this is another strong draft for them. I really like that tight end, Sam Laporta, that they picked up. Then Hooker, I really like Hendon Hooker, man. I really, really like him. I think that he's got the maturity needed for the NFL. I think him playing behind Jared Goff, or, God forbid, Jared Goff goes down, right? I think that's a good person that you can insert into that offense, and he can keep things going. He can elevate it. Maybe he is going to be the quarterback for the long term there, right? I think Jared is definitely the starter this year. They're gonna just keep Hendon down there, and I think Jared's done some good things
last year, bro. He was
He's done a lot. He's done a lot, right? He's done a lot with what some would say, a little. He's done a lot with a little, and there's a thing that I've always known about Jared Goff, right? Like, Jared Goff, if you give him proper protection, he's going to throw some of the prettiest balls in the NFL. Like, he can play, but him under duress is not a quarterback that you want on your roster. But they've made those investments along the line. They've made those investments on the defense and stuff, right? They went and replaced DeAndre Smith with Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Let's see what happens with him in that offense where that they're going to run. I like Jack Campbell as a pickup for them at linebacker to help kind of control the tone. I still have some questions about their wide receiving weapons, and I know everybody's like, well, what about Amon-Ra St. Brown? What about Josh Reynolds and stuff like that? Those guys are good. Jameson Williams is the receiver that's the star. Yeah. And if you don't believe me, just go back and watch any of the games when he finally got a chance to play last season.
Oh, it was magnificent.
Like I said, and it's a damn shame that he's not going to be able to start the season. I think it's a 6-game suspension, and that could potentially cost them the division, right? I think his presence on the field could potentially cost them the division. So, like I said, I got them going 10-7. They don't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. Detroit fans will tell you, well, it don't matter even if we had to deal with Aaron Rodgers. You saw what we did. We kept them out of the playoff last season, and I'm right there with you. I'm riding high with you guys, but I think with Aaron out of this division, we don't know what Justin Fields is developing to. I think we all know who Kirk Cousins is at this point. I think Detroit really stands a strong chance. At 10-7 is the record that I have. They could possibly squeeze out that 11th win, maybe go ahead and secure that division with 11 wins. But I really, really like Detroit going into the season, man.
I love it, man. Dude, I'm gonna go hard for Detroit in this episode, man. Next team we're gonna cover in a sec is gonna be the Chicago Bears, and we got a lot to say about them because wow, did they have a draft, and I'm really excited for them. But with Detroit getting beat out of the playoffs by one game. It was like one game.
Let me just apologize to Detroit. That was our bad, dog. That was our bad. We should have handled business against the Seahawks. That's our bad. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look, man, I'm gonna say this, man. I got them winning 11 games and winning the division. I got Detroit winning the division. I think it's gonna be an exciting year. I was a little concerned when I saw that their star running back who led the league in touchdowns last year is now a Saint. But when you have like their draft again, a lot of people did not like their draft. I loved it personally. Jack Campbell, great pickup. Jahmyr Gibbs, gutsy call, but he probably would have been taken by another team. Great pickup there, right? I love what they got. Brian Branch, wow, what a great pickup in the draft, right? And you look at their strength of schedule, they got this, man. They got this. And on top of that, as a UDFA, he's been on the show. Check out the interview that we did with him. Muhammad Ibrahim. He had a torn ACL in college, but he still came back and had over 4,000 rushing yards and broke the all-time record for the Golden Gophers. He went as a UDFA, which is a shocker to me. So their backfield is so stacked in Detroit, man, and I'm confident he'll make the team too.
Oh yeah, me too. I think it's Gibbs and Ibrahim. That's the 1 and 2. That's going to be Swift and Jamal Williams 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. So I got him. I got him going 11-6, man, and potentially 12 wins. But I think 11-6 is fair, man. They got to overcome some humps with some of
Hmm.
these suspensions they got going on. But
Yeah.
other than that, love what they got going on. Moving on to the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, man.
Hmm.
Man, what a draft did they have? All the cap room, strength of skill. I mean, I see a team that I'll say this, man. I'm a Justin Fields fan. I know I had a viral video on this channel, and check it out whenever you get a chance, where I was ripping him a new one versus against that game where he played against the Commanders. That's what it
Hmm.
was. I had to think for a sec. And in that game, it was just such a it was such a I don't think you belong in the NFL type game, but I was shocked to see him come back from adversity in that game and have a pretty good year. Yes, they did not win a whole lot more games after that. Yes, they did not make the playoffs, but what did they do? What did they do? Let's talk about what they did in the offseason, man. They got offensive tackle Darnell Wright, had one of the best O linemen in all of college football, played for the Volunteers, is now on the Bears, right? They beefed it up in free agency as well too. I mean, I love everything they got. Also, shout out to Tyler Scott, friend of the
Yeah.
show. Check out our interview with him. Super great guy. They got linebacker Noah Sewell, Travis Bell. I mean, I love what they got going on. I'm gonna go on now. There's a lot of development that has to go on, right? It's not just plug and play, but I think this team is going to be better than they were last year. I got the Chicago Bears coming in at 9 wins. 9 wins or 9-8. What you got?
Uh, man, Bears fans, go ahead and give my boy Doug Smith a hug because I do not have y'all at 9 wins. I got y'all at 6 wins, 11 losses this year, possibly
Oh,
seven
okay.
and 10.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a Justin Fields believer. And once again, if
Okay.
you follow the show, you know I'm not a Justin Fields believer.
It's
And
true.
that's not because I don't like I don't know the man not to like him. I just don't I don't believe in quarterbacks from Ohio State. I don't. And until one of
Mm.
them proves me wrong, I'm going to continue not to believe in quarterbacks from
And
Ohio
Joe
State.
Burrow don't count.
Joe Burrow is not an Ohio State product. That's an LSU product. Y'all don't get to claim him. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, does Justin Fields have talent? Clearly, he's got talent, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason he's in the league, and me and you are not.
Yeah.
Um, love the upside with the mobility, right? But if his mobility is going to be his primary thing, right? If he cannot evolve his throwing the way that Lamar Jackson has evolved his throwing year after year, he's coming back and he's more comfortable sitting in that pocket, throwing the ball. The accuracy is better and stuff like that. And mixing that with his mobility, even if he does get to the level where people are projecting Justin Fields to get to, right? Where they think he could become one of these superstar quarterbacks, his career is going to be short lived because these boys is only getting stronger and faster, and them hits are getting nastier and nastier. I don't care what kind of safety precautions. It just takes one bad hit for your career to be done. Go ahead and ask Robert Griffin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so his ability to sit in the pocket and create from the pocket is severely in question. His accuracy, he struggled getting down the field at times. Now they
Yeah.
have gone and they made some moves to get him some more weapons, right? So don't tell me that Chicago doesn't have weapons. Chicago has weapons, right? They went and traded
Yeah.
for Chase Claypool, added him on late last season, right? And so now he's getting a whole off season to work with Justin Fields and stuff like that. He'll find his way onto that roster spot. Darnell Mooney is there. Didn't they get they got my boy from Carolina, didn't they? When they traded for the
Oh,
return?
more.
Yeah, Moore. So Moore's
Yeah.
there, right? Like so Moore, Mooney, Claypool. That's a pretty nice wide receiver group, if you ask me. So I really like what they're doing. Uh, they're going to need some help on defense in terms of replacing the captain that they had in Roquan Smith. You know, they traded him away to Baltimore last season, and it's not just about the things that Roquan did on the field, right? It's about the things that Roquan did in the locker room, off the field, right? Just that veteran presence. Who's going to step up and take over for them? I still am struggling with their corners a little bit. Do I believe in those corners and stuff like that? They got a lot of young guys and people that just really haven't proven themselves yet in the league.
Yeah.
So the defense is going to be a question, and when you have an offense, that's also a question, right? you can't really be starving on both ends. So one of those ends got to be very, very strong, and I just don't see it from this team. I I don't think they're going to finish worse in the division. I got them finishing
Mm.
third in the division. But like I said, for me, it's a 6-11, 7-10 kind of season for
Ooh.
Chicago.
I like that breakdown. I like that breakdown. And I want to acknowledge something you said too, is with the accuracy. That would be my top concern. It's crazy because we've seen him make a Patrick Mahomes type throw before, right? But he tends to go towards the legs first. So I'm optimistic, want him to do well, and yeah, we shall see. Before we move on to the Green Bay Packers, because man, I got some stuff to say about the pack. Comment below, let us know your thoughts on this episode. Please hit that subscribe button. That helps to grow the channel, that helps the algorithm. Hit the bell for alerts. We do cover the whole NFL, so not just Bears, not just Detroit. I try to show as much love to every team as possible. I am not ESPN, but yeah, we do this year round, and also January through April. This is one of the best places on the entire internet to get draft content. So you guys be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we got some more heat coming your way and tons of live shows. All right, Packers, man. Soup, kick us off, man. What are your thoughts on the 2023-24 Green Bay Packers and the direction they're heading? What's your schedule prediction?
Man, first of all, I just want Packers fans to go ahead and acknowledge how extremely blessed as a franchise you guys have been for
Yes.
probably the last 2 decades, right? Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back, and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. This new quarterback that you guys have is nowhere near that tier, right? He's
Mhm.
just don't think, oh, he's going to come out and he's going to surprise people. Jordan Love is not going to surprise nobody. He's not surprising nobody. And let me
Mhm.
tell you how I know he's not surprising nobody. Uh, because they haven't even released any footage of this cat throwing in practice. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a trend that happens in the league when we get these young, exciting quarterbacks that got a little something, something to them, right? That got a little sizzle to them, right? Whether
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes before he was starting, hell, we even seeing stuff with Anthony Richardson. We're seeing Bryce Young and all that, all the guys. We're seeing those guys.
Uh-huh.
Footage is leaking out from camp. Oh, look at this throw. You ain't Somebody find me the leak throw of Jordan Love. Somebody
Yeah.
find me the leak throw of him completing anything. And I'm not saying that he's not completing passes. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
where is the wow moment that his team, right, his camp is releasing, saying, hey, y'all should have more confidence on our boy because he's coming. There's no internal hype from Green Bay on their
Mhm.
quarterback. That's a problem. And he's been in the league. What, this is year 5? This is year 5, and you can't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, and he was playing behind Aaron." Like, bro, if you were playing behind Aaron, regardless how you feel about Aaron Rodgers as a person, right? I think we all can agree he's one of the most prolific throwers of the football that the game has ever seen. If you haven't learned sitting behind that man for the last 4 or 5 years, right, or however long he's been there
Mhm.
behind Aaron Rodgers, like, you're not ready, and you ain't never going to be ready. You were
Mhm.
overdrafted. I think it's time that Green Bay admits that. And I think Green Bay
Yeah.
knows that, right? I think they're kind of, there was nobody that they realistically wanted to give up assets for and move up and get in this year's draft. They looked at the
Yeah.
free agent quarterbacks. There wasn't really anybody that they could really look out and acquire. And
Yeah.
so they said, well, he's got a pretty good friendly contract. We can go ahead and retain Jordan. But I think this is Jordan's final year in a Packer uniform. I do think they are hard on the market next year,
Yeah.
looking for a quarterback via the draft or, potential free agent quarterbacks or a quarterback that
At
maybe,
least someone to compete with them.
well, and I'm not ready to share this theory yet. I'm gonna keep it to myself. But there are two quarterbacks in the league that you would
Okay.
think that the franchises are very happy with, very comfortable with, that I think are actually available for the right price.
Man, say it, bro. Say
That
it.
you say,
Drop it, man.
we're gonna see how the season play out first. But
Okay, I got you.
I do think that there's two people that could be potentially in Green Bay next year, and I think that Green Bay is willing to make a big move for it. And I think that those teams are also willing to part ways with these quarterbacks, not because
Mhm.
they're underperforming, but just because maybe these teams are ready to start looking to the future for the long term.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, that all that stuff being said, Green Bay, we've got to reevaluate what you guys are doing on defense, right? We got to reevaluate what you guys are doing on defense. I like what you're doing on offense. I don't know what we're doing in terms of wide receiver, but they say quarterback's two best friends, right? Young quarterback's two best friends, solid running back. Well, we know y'all got that. And the safety blanket, the tight
Yeah.
end, right? And they went and drafted Luke Musgrave, who I think is an absolute steal. So I
Yeah.
think Jordan Love has what he needs there. In addition to, right, Green Bay's always had a very good offensive line. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a year where Green Bay just had a shitty offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really, really think that he is set up for some type of success. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the other teams in the North, and when I'm talking about the other teams, I'm talking about Detroit and I'm talking about Minnesota. I think that they're so much further ahead of Green Bay. And I think that gap, right, that Aaron Rodgers would have
Mm-hmm.
closed for them, that's not there anymore. Jordan Love's not going to be there. They're going to win, like I said, they're going to win 5 to 6 games just off the strength of Jordan Love. Nobody really having any tape on him. He's been in the league for so long, but nobody really has tape on him, so nobody
Yeah.
knows what to do with this guy. But I
See,
think by the time we get 4 or 5 weeks in, there's going to be enough tape where the league is going to look like, oh, we know what this kid is.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
then defensive coordinator is going to get to work on his behind. So Green Bay, this is going to be new for you guys. I know you're not used to this. I actually have you guys finishing last in this division.
Yeah. No, I do too, man. I do too. I got them winning maximum 7 games, and I have them at least hopefully winning 6 games, man. I think Aaron Jones is, if this ain't a fantasy football type channel, though, I will share a very pathetic draft here, as I usually do every year with you guys. And who knows, that may be something in the future. But Aaron Jones, hey, man, that's a guy you probably want to get in the first round, right, of this, because he's going to be used plenty in this year's NFL season. That being said, you hit the nail on the head, man. We haven't seen a whole lot of tape on this guy, man, and I feel like they're like, hey, let's just see how this year goes. Now they had, I think it was like 9 or 11 draft picks, so they had tons of those. If they hit on at least, I think 5 to 7 of those draft picks, it'll be super beneficial. At least 5 of them, right? But I like what they did in the draft. I truly do. They had was it Luca Van Ness?
Luca Van Ness and Luke Musgraves are my favorite picks for them.
I love
Like,
it. I love it.
those are easily my favorite picks for them.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of like, let's see if they become something.
Yeah, it's kind of like hold your breath. Let's see if they could. And I'll say this: they are known for developing talent over in Green Bay. They are, you know what I mean. But again, there's a whole lot of what ifs there. I think this draft, I think when we were grading it, I might have gave it like a C plus. I like Carl Brooks, the D lineman in round 6. I think that was a steal. But outside of that, man, there's not a whole lot to see here, folks. So 6 wins is what I got the Green Bay Packers going as.
Yeah, we're on lockstep there.
Yeah, we right there, fam. Now, last team we're going to talk about today is the Minnesota Vikings. Real quick, y'all, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button and comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Also, hit the bell for the alerts. That's going to give you a reminder of when stuff takes and comes out. Also, take and follow my guy, Soup, right here, AC the GDB. That's on Twitter. You can follow me at TouchdownDoug. We have a lot of fun. And then, of course, the Touchdown with Doug Smith is on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and also as well, we're on, what's that new app on Instagram?
Threads.
I got it. I'm my bad, y'all.
Yeah, my at is the same on Threads as it is.
Oh yeah, so go ahead, catch us on there. Minnesota Vikings, Vikings, man. All right, so I have quite a few things to take and say about these Minnesota Vikings.
Go ahead, brother.
All right, this could potentially be the last year that Kirk Cousins plays for the team. I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan. I think he's Phillip Rivers 2.0. He's a statistic warrior. I don't think he's a future Hall of Famer, though he puts up great stats. He chokes in primetime moments. We saw it in the Eagles game last year, dude. I mean, he's just not that guy. The crazy thing is you have Jefferson, potential, depending on who you talk to, is the best receiver in the whole NFL. I would actually put him as the number 1 receiver in last year's NFL.
I think he's the most dynamic. I don't think he's the best. I think he's the most dynamic.
I think overall, he finished out number 1 in stats. That's an important. But then, of course, who's his quarterback, right? And I think there's a frustration there. Then you have Jordan Addison. Wow, that's going to be exciting, right? And then, of course, they got BYU quarterback Jaron Hall and stuff. Obviously, that's probably just going to be a backup. I think the guy that they got from was it Texas A&M, Kellen Mond. I don't think he's a future of that franchise. I think when he was picked up in the 2nd or 3rd round 2 years ago, I think they thought that this could potentially be something. Who knows? Maybe he got to develop more. Maybe it's a Geno Smith
Your
situation.
best chance at beating out a
Yeah.
quarterback is Kirk Cousins, and you couldn't do it. Sorry,
He
King.
couldn't do it. Exactly. So I'll say that to say this, man. Dalvin, this team, I have the Minnesota Vikings at 4 wins.
Ooh,
I had them lower. I have them lower than the Packers
ooh,
because they got rid of Zadarius Smith. Dalvin Cook is looking for his next team. They got rid of so many players, and it's like, man, they kept Cousins. They get Jefferson. They had a decent draft. You know, I like what they did. It was okay. You know, they definitely hit on the Jordan Addison pick. You know, but everything else here is just meh. You know, I think Mekhi Blackman and Jay Ward will be decent,
man.
but I got him at 4 wins, man. I think this is the year Kirk Cousins gets out of there. I said what I said, and I think that they realize that they overpaid for this guy. They overpaid for this guy, and he's never going to do anything for you. You're never
Anytime
going to
you
win a
pay
Super
Kirk
Bowl.
Cousins, you're overpaying for a guy.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
just the
man.
truth of the matter.
So 4 wins is where I got Minnesota at. Soup, man. D got me. What you got?
Man, bro, my dad would have to fight you, bro. He had to square up. So, like, shout out to my pops. This is his squad.
Yeah.
Man, so Minnesota, I got Minnesota right there at the 10-7, 9-8 mark, right? I think it's them and Detroit battling it out for the 1-2. And this is what I was talking about. The absence of Jamison Williams could cost Detroit this division. Because say whatever you want to say about Kirk Cousins, right? I think we both feel the same way about Kirk Cousins. But and I do agree with you. I think this is the last year that Kirk Cousins is in a Vikings uniform. I really do. I think that they're one of the teams that is going to be shopping for one of these 2 quarterbacks that I think could be available next season, or looking to the draft, right, to see what they can do. I don't think they're going to finish in a position where they're going to be in a position where they can get one of these young top tier quarterbacks that are coming out. I think they're going to have to trade away considerable assets, whatever they have left. But you make a lot of good sense, right? Like, Kirk Cousins is who we say he is. It's like, man, Adrian, how can you believe that they're going to be second in the division? You just talked all that crap about their quarterback. Well, that should tell you how I feel about the other quarterbacks in that division. Justin Jefferson he's good enough to get you a couple wins all by himself, right? I like the running back Mathis that was right behind Dalvin Cook. I don't think that he's Dalvin Cook, but I think he's good enough to get enough production out of him, right? That'll keep this stuff winning. Kevin O'Connell's offense, I'm very familiar being a Rams fan. I'm very familiar with Kevin O'Connell and how that offense works, right? They don't necessarily need production in the run game. They just need consistency. So the threat of possibly being able to run. So all he needs to do is grab a couple of runs, maybe break a few, right? But they're going to the air. That's where they're going to shine is through the air. Kirk is going to do that, right? He's a statistical warrior. I don't see any reason why this season why he's not going to put up the numbers. I think the big questions that Minnesota really has right now, like you pointed out, they lost some veteran leadership with Zadarius there. There's a lot of chatter around Daniil Hunter that he is not happy and that he could possibly be getting shipped out of there, right? Like his contract is not really friendly for what Minnesota's trying to do. So he may just be a casualty by the trade deadline. And if you take Daniil Hunter out, right, like that defense looks completely different on that front. That's your edge presence gone.
If I could say another thing too, we got so much more. We got Eric Kendricks, right?
Yeah,
Patrick
gone.
Peterson, Cameron Dantzler,
yeah,
Dalvin Tomlinson, Adam Thielen.
Yeah, Thielen being gone, right? Like
huge.
There's a lot of exodus of talent leaving this team, and there's still potentially more talent leaving. And I don't believe in my heart of hearts that the draft, free agents, all that stuff that they've done, and the things that they're going to do all the way up to the trade deadline, I don't think that they're going to get even a 40% return of talent that they put out. But that being said, right, even after all of that, I still have them finishing second in this division just because of how weak the other 2 teams outside of Detroit are and the number of questions around them, right? Kevin O'Connell knows how to coach. Whether you think he's a good head coach or not, like I know he's a hell of an offensive coordinator. Like that team is going to score points. Now, I don't think they're going to win all of those one-score games that they won last year. I think, like I said, they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. So that's why I say it's going to be one of those, 10-7, 9-8 kind of seasons for them. And Justin Jefferson, no hate in my heart for Justin Jefferson, but y'all talk real big on Justin Jefferson, and I like dude, right? I like him a lot. He had that big game against Buffalo, right? The catch, we all saw it, overtime, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What happened the next week, though? What happened the next week? What killed me is what's my corner's name in Green Bay?
Jair Alexander.
Jair.
Yeah.
They asked him leading up to the game. They say, you worried about Justin Jefferson? He's like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna lock him down.
I saw that
all week that he was gonna lock him down. And guess what? Showed up to the game, did what? Locked him down. Had Justin Jefferson throwing
San Quentin style.
And I'm like, if you're going to be a number one receiver, right? Not only just be a number one receiver, if you want to be in the conversation for the best in the league, brother, it don't matter who's covering you.
Yeah.
You're 7-11. You got to be open 24/7. And Jair shut you down.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be that guy, if you're gonna talk that stuff like you're that guy in the biggest moments, right? We're talking playoffs.
Yeah.
We're talking playoffs. We're talking, this is big time stuff. Like, I need you to be that guy. Every week, you got to be that guy. Yeah. You don't get the luxury of everybody has a bad game.
I want to add a point too. The biggest pickup for this team, besides Jordan Addison, is defensive coordinator Brian Flores, who's one of the most talented, you got to have him in maybe the top 3 conversation potentially. Obviously, we get into a conversation of how he became no longer the Dolphins head coach, and maybe he's not meant to be a head coach, but defensively speaking, my man's eating, and he's known for using no-name players.
Yes.
No-name players and making the best out of it. So I still got him at 4 wins, man. But I think next year they're going to be a much better team. I don't hate this team. Also, shout out to our guy, Brian Asamoah. Check out our interview from 2 football seasons ago when he was drafted by the Vikings, friend of the show. But yeah, this ain't Viking bashing. My biggest issue with this team is Kirk Cousins and his stupid contract. I think this team, I think Vikings have some of the best NFL history in the league up there. But this year, it's just hard for me to show
y'all are gonna hear me do something. I just like when I don't plead for no team to win the championship except for my Rams. But I'm begging the Minnesota Vikings. I'm begging y'all. Like, please win a Super Bowl in like the next 3 to 4 years. Like, please, I'm begging you. Like, my dad has been a diehard his entire life, and he's had to watch all of his children's teams get Super Bowls recently, right? And the man has never enjoyed one for himself. He just turned 60 this year. Just like a few weeks ago, he just turned 60. And like, just please don't let my dad leave this earth without seeing y'all win a Super Bowl. I'll never forgive you if you let my dad depart this earth without getting a Super Bowl, especially with all the talent that you guys have had over his lifetime, that you've wasted. Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, like Rod Smith. Like, if you guys waste all of these opportunities, Adrian Peterson, Justin Jefferson, you guys waste this and you couldn't parlay that into a Super Bowl, I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you.
Yeah. Facts. On that note, folks, those are our NFC North season predictions. Go ahead, smash that like button, comment below, let us know your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button along with the bell for the alerts. We'll catch you guys next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. And by the way, we're doing one for every division, so stay tuned.
Keep it locked.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where I cover all 32 NFL teams plus NFL exclusive interviews. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for the alerts, comment below, and we'll catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith.